Hey, it's Dirk with DMP Home Inspection and Home Watch Services. And this is your mentor moment. A big thank you for all of you guys for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a huge shout out to InterNACHI for supporting this podcast and helping us reach other inspectors, entrepreneurs, and small business owners. I am so thankful you are all here. Today, I want to talk about something that happened to me, and it's going to happen to you at some time, especially if you're a business owner. Even employees can relate to this. So let's just dive into it. I got this call from this lady about a home inspection. We go through the normal questions. Have you checked out three, if not four, other home inspectors? She says, I'm the third one on the list, blah, blah, blah. And her first question was, how much do you charge? Well, I did exactly what I normally say. I charge 450 for a full home inspection. I do a flat rate, blah blah blah. And just like I always do, everything was going fine. And then she has these magic words. Well, can you do better on the price? Now, here's the thing. I'm not offended by that question. I get it. We all want to save a buck. We live in a world where people want a deal. They use coupons, they use sales, they use discounts, whatever it is. Some people are just natural negotiator. But I told her exactly what I tell everyone who asks that. Ma'am, I have over 100 certifications. I do webinars. I host a podcast. I train and mentor other home inspectors nationwide. And I've had over 3,000 home inspections under my belt. I don't negotiate my price unless you're a veteran. Are you a veteran? She says, no. Well, and I mean that because veterans are the exception. I get into I'll get into why in a moment. But here's the truth. Not everyone is going to fit my business. I might offer one of the best inspection services across the entire board, but the value does come with a price. I heard this story a long time ago about a cruise ship, I believe it was, and they had some engine problems. Well, no one can get to the cruise ship to fix the engine, so they asked the passenger if there was any engineers on board. This one guy said that he was. So they took him down into the where the motor was. He listened for a few seconds, grabbed a hammer, hit it twice, and the engine started. No problems the rest of the trip. But he gave the bill to the company for like $2,000. He had the experience. He had the knowledge and the know-how. They don't see the 30 plus years that he spent learning that type of motor. They don't see what he put into it. So, and sooner or later, you're going to understand that. Whether you're an inspector, a business owner, or someone just trying to build a career, the happier and more successful you be, you'll end up getting more for what you're worth. So let's really dig into this. So here's why I give veterans a break. Simple respect. I couldn't join the military, but I have a huge respect for them. They've given their time, their safety, and in some cases their health for this country. That's a sacrifice I can never repay it. But if I can make their life just a little bit easier when they're buying or selling their home, I'm going to do it. Okay? That's just who I am. It's not a marketing gimmick. I don't advertise it. Half the time, no one even knows I give them a break until the price comes to them. Okay. But for everybody else, my price is my price. I don't pull it out of thin air. It's built on the years of hard work, the training that I've done, the consistently improving my craft and helping all those other people in need. So there's certain things that I will bend the price on, but that's for me as a business owner to decide that, not for someone on the outside telling me that my price has to be this. And here's what people don't see when they hear the price of inspection. They don't think they're paying for me to show up for a few hours, walk with a flashlight, maybe take some pictures and then send them a PDF. No, they don't see the 100 certifications I've earned, 100 plus. They don't see that electrical degree that I've taken time out of my day, my years that I spent without giving back to my family. This cost me a lot of time and effort. It gives me that massive advantage in spotting dangerous items. So I want to actually be a better inspector. My goal is to be the best inspector, but I also want to make sure that I'm getting paid for those things that I have done. And doing over 3,000 homes, that really puts me over the top. These webinars I've taught, the podcasts I host, the mentoring I do all this stuff because I love what I do. The fact intentionally do this gives me that full intention to that customer. It's so that she can or he can or whoever it is get the best deal. I could crank out 2 or 3 inspections a day without a problem, and make more money. But the quality would definitely suffer. That's why I only do 1 inspection a day. That's why I can give 100% into an inspection each time. I can't do that if I'm rushed. I hate being rushed. I did a $1 billion home one time, and the liaison, I think they call him, came out and he said, "Hey, you need to hurry this up." And I said, "Sir, I'm sorry, but I don't do rushed inspections. If you think that I'm going to rush through this, I should probably just pack up my deal and leave. I don't do it." Okay. My price reflects my commitment and thoroughness. And if I'm in your home, I'm not thinking about the next appointment. I'm thinking about your roof. Thinking about your foundation. I'm thinking about your safety in the entire house. And that is worth something. So not everyone's going to be my client. And this is where I think a lot of business owners really mess up. They think every single person who calls should be a client. They shouldn't be. I've learned a long time ago it's not true. Not everyone is your customer. You can't please everyone. You if you try to end up pleasing everybody, you're going to please no one. You stretch yourself too thin. You cut those corners where you didn't want to, but you had to because you had to get on to the next appointment or whatever it is. But your reputation will definitely take that hit if you continue that path. When someone's main priority is finding the cheapest price, they're not my customer. And honestly, I'm okay with that because they can go somewhere else. Matter of fact, I will help them find a new inspector if they ask. Because if I've been to that, I'm telling myself, I'm telling other clients, I'm telling everybody, my work is worth less. It's really worthless. There's a joke out there that says, "Do you pay your dog to be good?" And of course, people say no, and they laugh. So your dog is good for nothing? Well, I don't want to be good for nothing. Hopefully, you got that joke. It's a good dad joke, anyways. Cheap can be expensive. Okay. So over the years, I've done this, and when I got into this industry, this one customer actually told me about that they are fed up with all these other inspectors out there, and they need someone that's going to be thorough. Of course, I've said yes. I'm definitely really, thorough and this and that, and because they got stuck with such high expensive things that happen that now they're kind of gun shy on inspectors. Well, you're trusting a stranger to go into that house and do a job that you're maybe not even aware what they're doing. So when I do my inspections, I actually take pictures as I go so that the people that really want to get to know what I was doing, they can actually follow that entire inspection report and see what I was doing and how I was doing it. So I really want to try to be that light in the darkness kind of thing. So let's say this, a buyer goes into the cheapest inspector they can find, and that inspector maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours in the home, checks the basics, hands over the report. That's okay. The buyer's happy because they saved 100, $200, whatever it is. Fast forward 6 months, they call me in a panic because their roof is leaking. They call me because they have some electrical problems or a foundation issue or whatever it is. Guess what? All that could have been caught if the inspector would have taken their time and used the right tools and the knowledge that he or she could have gained. The cheap inspector just cost them thousands, sometimes tens of thousands in repairs. The most expensive inspection you'll ever get is the one that missed the problem. Okay. So I had this one customer call or book an inspection, and I went and did this house and told them what was wrong with it, blah, blah. A couple weeks later, that same person actually got me and I did another inspection for him. On the third house, he was back again. And I was like, oh, I bet you didn't want to see me again because I was working for another company at the time. And he says, no, I actually asked for you because you saved me thousands, hundreds of $1,000s on these other houses. He goes, I could write $300 all day long. He goes, and that's not going to affect me because you have changed my outcome on all those houses because you found really big issues. And I'm talking like bowing walls and stuff like that that were coming in from the foundation because there was basements. Well, anyways, the most expensive inspection you're going to get is the one that inspector missed. And that is no joke. Now, if you're listening to this and you run your own business, you often get, or even if you're just starting out, whatever it is, let me give you some advice. Price based on value you provide, not on what the other guy charges. The cheapest guy in your market is never the most respected. Okay. The people who value your work will pay for it without hesitation, and they'll recommend you to others who think the same way. The one who tries to nickel and dime you, in my experience, are those usually the customers that are really hard to please. They want top shelf service, but they want bottom shelf pricing. And that's just not how the world really should work, and neither should you. It's the way you should run your business. And not that I'm telling you to run your business, but really think about this. Saying no to the wrong client creates a space for the right ones. It's not it's not losing a sale. It's actually protecting your business. And that's what you're in it for. You don't want to have these customers that are calling you on and on and on again. Well, you missed this, whatever. It's saying that you are not missing the things that you should be missing by taking your time, doing the right job, and getting a fair price for that. At the end of the day, it isn't about the home inspection. It was about that self-worth that I have. And if you're you put your work and your honor into your skills, and if you bring that real value to your customers, you'll have the right to charge for that value. My price isn't just a number. It reflects my training, my experience, my integrity, and it's a level of service I promise to deliver. And I'll even leave you with this. Everyone is not a customer. The ones who are will see your value, pay your price, and thank you for it. Matter of fact, I still get tips even after the fact. The one who don't, let them go. Value has a price, and if you don't stand by it, no one else will. Anyways, thanks for listening. If this has added value to your day, share it with someone. Share it with another entrepreneur or business owner or inspector. Subscribe, leave a comment or a review because that really helps us out in the long run. And stay tuned for our next episode. I guarantee it's going to be kind of fun. Let's keep going forward here. Until next time, inspect what you expect, serve before you sell, and always keep growing and moving forward. Have a blessed day, guys.